Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to have a look at tomorrow's racing, starting off with the 150 at Ascot. I'm going to leave the ratings open for this race. I kind of need them a little bit to explain my reasonings behind selecting the horse that I am. And it's boring-ish in the fact that it's the favourite, it's Apple Away. But she's the right favourite, and she's actually, they've got a bit of a red line at the moment because all the money's for this Kilbeg King, which I totally don't understand. Kilbeg King, in my opinion, okay, he's run a good performance at Kempton, but before that hadn't run anywhere near the level, based on the ratings, to get close to Apple Away and Brave Kingdom. I think those two are clear, to be honest. And when I say they're clear, Brave Kingdom could obviously improve on like this 145.6 in the fact that he won. So how do we know that there wasn't a lot more to come from that? I think Apple Away, however, has run a 148.8, a 152.7. When things go right, a 149 here. When things go right, she is very good. And I think she's properly top class grade 1. Whereas I believe, in my opinion, Kilbeg King and Brave Kingdom might be just shy of top class grade 1. Whereas I think Apple Away will be running in all of the grade 1s in the future, and either going close or finishing second or third sort of thing. She might not be winning them, but I don't think Brave Kingdom and Kilbeg King will be anywhere near to winning them personally. So I actually think she's a decent bet at 6 to 4. I think she will take all of the beating there, and I think she will win the race, to be honest. So that is my first selection of the day. The second one, whoops. So moving on to the 225 at Ascot. Now I have hidden the ratings. As you know, premium members, you get access to the ratings. Free members, you don't. And that's what you're paying for as a premium member, access to the ratings, the pro stats if you're a professional member as well. Obviously everybody pretty much gets this analysis. So moving on to this second race at Ascot, who do I like here? So there are a couple that I'm very interested in, and I have decided on which horse I am going to go for. And the three that I think are interesting, they are Rare Edition, Highland and Bad. I think they've all got more to come with their runs. I think Highland, that third place finish behind Ed Keeper and Ho Jolie Smoke, I think is very, very good form. I also really like Rare Edition. I think the step up and trip will suit. But the selection that I'm going for is Bad. Now, I really like Bad. I think he is a very good horse. I think his reputation is right. There is still more to come. And I thought he ran a great race when he was third a couple of runs ago. Was he third or second? Second, actually, in the intermediate hurdle behind Hansard. Back in third that day was Brentford Hope. Our champ back in 5th, Under Control, disappointed in 7th. Now, I feel that it didn't quite work at Ascot, hence finishing 3rd, went off 5 to 2 favourite and disappointed. And I think they've tried some things now. So not only has the horse had a wind surgery, the horse has also got cheek pieces on for the first time, and the horse is also up to 2 mile 3. They are trying everything here to get the horse a win. Probably to get the horse a win and up in the handicap so that they can potentially run in a race at the Cheltenham Festival, a handicap, maybe the Coral Cup, maybe the Martin Pipe. And I really believe that if they all work, you know, I'd like to think that they're not doing, because you could have done one. You could have given it wind surgery. You could have put the cheek pieces on. You could have stepped up in trip. I think they're trying to win this and win this quite comfortably so that they go up enough in the handicap to get in at the Cheltenham Festival. They don't want anything left to chance sort of thing. So I really like Bad here, and you can currently get 6s. Yeah, 6 to 1. There are 7s, but you won't probably get that. So I really like Bad. Rare Edition definitely has a chance. Harry Cobden obviously on board is going to give him a good ride. And who was the other one I said? Who was the other one? Highland. Highland's probably a bit overpriced. I think that's really strong form. But we're going to leave that form line to a little bit later. And I'll tell you what I mean by that in a bit. So moving on to the 240 at Haydock, the Rendlesham Grade 2. As a Grade 2, I think this is a weak Grade 2. It's always a weak Grade 2, really, because of the proximity to the Cheltenham Festival, and those that the Stayers Hurdle horses don't really want to run here. I mean, I think Third Wind won this a couple of years ago and then ended up handicapping himself out that year for the Potemps, and then came back the following year and won. Now, we've got some improvers like Butch, Martha Bray maybe, but I think they're a little bit up against it. I don't think Sounds Russian is going to be, this isn't his end game. He's only had 337-day break, suggesting that this is probably a fitness run. For me, I think it comes down to two, Botox Hass and Red Risk, and I think they are the two to be looking at. And I can't get away from Botox Hass, to be honest. His form is good. He beat Red Risk earlier this season, was giving the horse £4 that day. Does give £6 this day, tomorrow, but I still think he'll be fine there. I thought he was comfortably beating Red Risk at Wetherby. Has won over course and distance, so clearly acts well on the ground. The soft stroke heavy going on this ground. That was actually in the Stayers Handicap Hurdle, the one that Crambo should have won this year, before going on to prove himself as a potential Grade 1 horse. Botox Hass, there's plenty to like about him, and I think he takes all of the beating here. I really do. I don't think a horse who's finished second to Botox Hass and then 8th in his last 3 runs is good enough to be winning something like this. I mean, he ran in the Coral Cup last year, did Red Risk, and he was way down the field in 13th. Botox Hass, I don't know whether he ran last year. I'm just actually looking on my other screen. He didn't. He ran in a Cleve Hurdle. He's running a Railkill Hurdle. You can see that he's not been aimed at, since winning that handicap, the Stayers Handicap at Haydock. He's been running in graded races, and I think that's where he deserves to be, whereas Red Risk probably could mix it back into handicaps, as could Butch, in my opinion. So I think Botox Hass is the right favourite here. 5-2 looks a decent price, to be honest. We know he'll act at the course. We know he'll act on the going. And yeah, there's no negatives about him, really, in this race. We move on to the 3 o'clock at Ascot, and if you've been following my videos and my analysis of the handicap marks, you'll know who I'm going to put up here. It's Chanbleu. Chanbleu needs 3 miles and needed some confidence. I think he got the confidence last time when finishing 3rd, not beaten that far by Triple Trade at Ascot, and that was when they'd put some cheek pieces on him. Maybe that just rejuvenated him, and the fact that he ran on so strongly over 2 mile 3 demonstrated that he does need to go back up to this 3 mile trip. I did think they were going to go for the Kempton race in a couple of weeks, might be next week actually, because it's like 85 grand to win it. They're not. They're coming here instead. It's still worth 56, 57 pretty much, and as he demonstrated last time out, he does act at Ascot, so that's not an issue as well. The runner-up, Harper's Brook, obviously went and won a simple race at Sandown. I say simple because the race fell apart. So yeah, I think Chanbleu will take all of the beating here. And after running that day, he only went up a pound. Yeah, I really like Chanbleu here, to be honest. I think he can get himself back up into, I almost feel he's good enough to run in like the Ryanair. Potentially off the back of this, they might go, well, we've now got a horse too high handicapped in the fact that they could win this. And he may well end up in the Ryanair. Looking at the odds, you can currently get 7s. I think that's a very fair price. I think he'll go very close. I do like Revels Hill, not for this race, for whatever he runs in after this. This is clearly his return with another race in mind, I think. Probably another long distance handicap. That's what he wants. He wants 3.5 miles and does Revels Hill. But this trip, on this going, for Chanbleu, Dan and Harry Skelton, yeah, I think I thought it was interesting. If you actually listen back to a interview with Harry Skelton, they said, oh, so you've got some runners at the weekend, and he mentioned one. I think he mentioned Who was it that he mentioned? I can't even remember now. He mentioned a horse, the interviewer did, and then Harry was very quick to jump in and go, and Chan Bleu. Like, at the weekend, I've got a big chance with Chan Bleu. And he has got a big chance. And apologies, I keep calling him Bleu. Chan Bleu. It's Chan Bleu, isn't it? Blue. We're English. Chan Bleu, I think, takes all the beating here at 7-1. Off to Haydock for a Patemps qualifier. Now, got to remember that Patemps qualifiers, if you are already high enough rated, you only need to finish in the first 4. And I think that could be the plan for a few of these. Interestingly, the front 2 in the betting, if we just load up the betting, Cuthbert Dibble and Punta de Esta, I think they both get in already. They only need to finish in the front 4. Now, this was a race that Dan Skelton likes to get his horses to qualify but not necessarily win. So I'm going to take on Punta de Esta. I'm also going to take on Cuthbert Dibble because I don't feel that they need to win this race to get in the Patemps final, and this isn't one that they kind of need to be chasing. So with that in mind, I'm looking for a horse who's lower down the handicap, that needs to win to get in a Patemps final, and that I think they believe they have a bit of a horse in. And what I mean by that is, well, I'll tell you who it is first. So the horse I'm going to put up is Lord Snooty for Christian Williams and Nick Schofield. So they're coming back for another Patemps qualifier. They ran in a Patemps qualifier on the 26th of December. And disappointed, he pulled up when he went off the 5-2 favourite. So he went a 5-2 favourite in a similar race. I'll tell you why I said river, because the runner-up that day was called Shallow River, who has come out and won a Patemps qualifier himself. So I think the race wasn't actually that bad, and the fact that Lord Snooty went off favourite for that, they clearly liked him. The time before that, he only went off 11-1 for the Stayers handicap, the feature Stayers handicap, when finishing 6th behind Slate Lane at 11-1, and he'd previously gone off 11-2 for a handicap over 2 mile 6. There's belief in this horse. There really is. There's a lot of belief in this horse that they think they have a horse that is very good, or at least ahead of his mark. But 122, is that going to get you in the Patemps final? I don't think so. So Lord Snooty needs to win tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, in my opinion. He needs to win to get into the final. Whereas the likes of, as I said, Cuthbert Dibble and Punta de Esta would be more than happy finishing 2nd and 3rd behind him off their marks of 133 and 131 and probably getting in. Whereas off 122, I don't think he'll get in the Patemps final, and he needs to win. And yeah, the fact that you're able to get 8 or 15-2 at the moment about a horse who went off 2-1 or 5-2, did I say? 5-2 favourite for a similar race last time out, and things just didn't go to plan, did they? He's now on to soft, heavy going. He's won on soft at Warwick in a handicap hurdle off 112. So the going won't be an issue. The going might actually bring him back to his best. I thought another one of his good runs was actually when he finished 2nd to Trelawney over hurdles. As we know, Trelawney has done much better over fences and has probably got a big chance in that old teamer at the Cheltenham Festival. So yeah, I think the ground will really help Lord Snooty here, and he is one that I am keen on tomorrow. And finally, I just want to check to see if we've got any odds yet. We don't have any odds yet, I don't think. No. Now, I'm just going to look for some forecast odds, because there is a horse that I really like in this race. And again, if you've been following my videos, you'll know who it is. Now, I'm just looking on the Racing Post, and they've got this horse betting forecast 16-1. Honestly, I think that would be a massive price for this horse. And that horse is Hurricane Harvey. Now, I highlighted Hurricane Harvey when he finished 4th 2 runs ago, behind Ed Keeper, behind Highland, behind Ho Jolly Smoke, and those three. Now, he ran on really strongly that day, over 3 miles. This is just about 3 miles again. That was in a Class 2. This is a Class 3. But then you'll say, okay, but he dropped down to a Class 3 last time out and disappointed. You could potentially think that. He did drop to a Class 3, and he did only finish 3rd, and he was beaten a fair way. To be fair to the race, though, the winner was St Davy, who's come out and won since, and the runner-up was Emerton, who's come out and won since. They were just so far clear of their marks that they were able to win that and finish first and second, pulling miles clear of Hurricane Harvey. I don't think there's anything in this race as well handicapped as those two were, or in form as those two were. And I think if we can get 16s, does Jack take 3 off? Jack takes 3 off as well. He's only rated 126. When he finished fourth at 2 runs ago, when I really liked him, he was off 129. So he's down another. He's down £3 from when he ran a really eye-catching race at Newbury. Yeah, I think he's going to run a really big race here, to be honest. I like the horse anyway. I think they've never quite got the best out of him, but his last couple of runs have kind of suggested that they're down to a mark that they can go close off. And in this type of race, Class 3 handicap, I think they will go very, very close here. And if you can get anything above like 5-1, I'd be quite happy with that, to be honest. There are no odds yet, but hopefully when the bookmakers start pricing up, they completely ignore me here and go 16s, 20s, 25-1 about Hurricane Harvey. So they are my selections for tomorrow. In the 150 at Ascot, Apple Away, I think she's a proper Grade 1 mare and can beat the geldings. I think she would beat them without the weight allowance. She gets the weight as well. She's officially £1 lower rated than Kilbeg King and is £7, carrying £7 less than Kilbeg King. So yeah, I think she is a fair price at 6-4. In the 225 at Ascot, I'm a big fan. As you can see, I've highlighted 3. Rare Edition and Highland are the 2 that I'm going to drop. I like Bad. I think they are throwing everything at Bad here in order to get him to win, to make sure they can get in a handicap at the Cheltenham Festival. He is currently, what did I say, 6-1 about Highland. At Haydock, I think Botox Haas is the best horse in the race in the Grade 2, better than Red Risk, who I think is the danger. Butch is improving, but I don't think he's Grade 2, Grade 1 class. And you can currently get 5-2 about Botox Haas. The 3 o'clock at Ascot, Shan Blue, I think over this trip will really suit. The Cheek Pieces stay on. I think that really worked last time. This is a more suitable trip. Lord Snooty has to win the Pertemps qualifier, in my opinion, to get in the Pertemps final. They will be going for it. They've clearly thought a lot of him. They've been running him in the right races, or probably better races than this. And it just didn't work last time, but he went a 5-2 favourite last time. He can't be ignored this time on ground that I think will suit him. And finally, in the 410, Hurricane Harvey, in what's probably an easier race than what he's been running in the last twice. And yet he's dropped £3 for that. Jack takes that £3 off still, like he has the last few runs now. He knows the horse. Probably will be weighted out the back and hopefully running on strongly towards the finish in what I think is an easier race, as I said. Thanks for listening, and fingers crossed for a couple of winners or a few winners tomorrow.